Right, hello folks. So I realised on my drive to work this morning, so I was in the office today, and generally when I'm in the office, it involves a 2 hour drive there and a 2 hour drive back. And often while I'm driving, I'll be there having I'll have thoughts pop into my head about stuff I've not done in a while and things I can do. Um, while I'm concentrating on driving, obviously. Um, and I remember that I haven't done one of these little informal videos in a long time, so I thought I'd just come back and like call out, not call out. That's not the term I want, but I want to kind of point people and the followers towards some really useful books and also some great source of information online. Some people that are doing some absolutely fantastic work. Um, and the first book that I'm going to recommend is by Dr. Gordon Barkley. So Dr. Barkley we used to be on Twitter, and he was absolutely amazing. He's always been very supportive of the work I've done. He's shared information with me, and Gordon's book is one that I constantly forget to mention whenever I'm doing anything. So this is an absolutely fantastic bit of work. It's again up there with the work of Peter Hibbs and Rob Lydiard and David Sims. And the work of the people who do a lot of landscape archaeology and, most importantly, documentary research. This book by Dr. Barkley covers the preparations for defending Scotland during the Second World War. Absolutely fantastic book, immaculately researched, perfectly presented. Great amount of field work and documentary research done, and yeah, unfortunately, I keep on forgetting to mention this because it needs more plugging. It's an absolutely fantastic book, and if it's not just one of those books where it's useful if you're just in Scotland, it's a perfect case study in how to undertake documentary research and combine that with archaeological fieldwork and how to present it as well. Absolutely fantastic, fantastic book. So please do check that out. Yeah, like I say, I don't mention this book enough, but I should, I need to remember it's there. So please do check out If Hitler Comes by Dr. Gordon Barkley. Another one which isn't directly related to the defence of the UK, but is a useful case study and precursor to the construction of the defences in the UK is, and I'm still working my way through this, but Building the Gort Line by Dave Thurlow. Again, absolutely fantastic book, just absolutely jam packed with some of the best research I've ever seen. Up there with all the rest. And Dave's another chap who has done a fantastic amount of research and field work looking at the defence of Suffolk and I think parts of Essex as well. And yeah, Dave doesn't get enough attention. His work is absolutely fantastic, and I know he was heavily inspired by Peter Hibbs in terms of using the documentary record. He used to have some fantastic websites where he presented his documentary research. But I'll just quickly swap video capture so Dave is, I think he's on Blue Sky. We'll come back to that later as Warforts at historic-concrete.bsky.social. So yeah, please do check out Dave's work. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And this book is worth getting. It's again, as with If Hitler Comes, it's a really decent kind of case study in what I like to term the precursor to the defence of the UK. Let me try and fiddle this again. There we go. And it's a really heavy book actually, but yeah, absolutely jam packed with. It's fully referenced, as is If Hitler Comes. It's full of plans and case studies, and it also covers the historical background as well extremely well. And then it has a section on, I think, considering how the defence of the UK was planned based off this. But this covers the Gort Line in France, which was the defensive stop lines or series of defensive stop lines and localities built in France by the British Expeditionary Forces. Again, cracking, cracking, cracking book, and another one that I constantly forget to mention, but I'm still working my way through this. It's a bloody good book. Check that out. Please do check that out. In terms of online stuff, so I should have planned this better. Right. So that's yeah, Building the Gort Line. So this, yeah, Dave Thurlow's work is absolutely fantastic. Really good. So first up is my mate Peter Hibbs. So Peter's been a massive inspiration in terms of the work I do. So many, many years ago, probably in the mid 2000s when I was just about starting out, I found Pete's website, and uh, it was clear that we were thinking on very similar lines in terms of the archaeology of the Second World War home front and the defences. But Pete had a different take on approaching researching this particular subject. So Pete is a military historian by background. He's also a bloody good archaeologist as well. Excuse me. Pardon me. And yeah, Pete has really pushed forward the discipline in terms of using documentary research to add the much needed additional detail to surviving Second World War defences. Yeah, and I contacted Pete in the mid 2000s because I'd started to use SketchUp for 3D models, and I found Pete's website after I'd started that, and I asked him some questions about how to model loopholes and all this stuff, and we just went from there. We've been in touch and we've worked together um, on research many times. We're in almost constant contact, and Pete has been absolutely fantastic in terms of helping me get started with the documentary side of things and work out what the hell I'm doing and all that. So yeah, please do check out Pete's website. Absolutely fantastic, and his social media feeds as well. Yeah, and Pete's been an absolutely cracking research colleague and everything. So please do check out his work. And we also run the UK Second World War Heritage Group together as well. So check out Pete's work. So that is pillbox.org.uk. Next up, we have Great War Huts. So Taff Gillingham and Lindsay, who set up and run this, as well as their band of volunteers. Yeah, absolutely fantastic little project. Back in 2014, I think it was, I was the project archaeologist for the Council for British Archaeology's Homefront Legacy 1914 to 18 project, and I became aware of the work of the Great War Huts to save, rescue, and renovate First World War huts. So these things are massively ephemeral. They didn't last too long, but they do survive in the landscape today, and they've been reused for many purposes. And Taff sat around rescuing many examples of these and turning them into a museum. And I was up in Yorkshire and living up in Yorkshire, as I had for 30 odd years at the time, and I came aware of this project and got in touch with Taff, and then I found out that the museum he was setting up was not too far away from where my wife lives. And again, struck up a friendship with Taff and the volunteers and Lindsay and everyone. And what's been great about Great War Huts has been seeing the project and seeing the museum develop and grow over time. They've gone from being one or two huts that were under renovation to creating this museum, which has revolving displays every year. They have an amazing series of talks. They do frequent events, and it's just been absolutely fantastic seeing the project develop, seeing it become successful and all this stuff. Absolutely fantastic. And please do check out the Great War Huts website. If you're in the no, the place has gone. It's in Suffolk, and it begins with a B, and my brain has gone. No, anyway, if you're in Suffolk, Norfolk, near the Norfolk-Suffolk border, please do check out Great War Huts. Their events are frequent. They do an annual event around Christmas where they have the trenches by candlelight, and they do just check out the website greatwarhuts.org. And yeah, Taff and Lindsay have been massively supportive of my work as well. I've done talks there and all this stuff, so please do check them out, and their social media is absolutely cracking as well. Right. The other one is the Vickers Machine Gun Collection and Research Association, which is run by Richard Fisher. So Rich is another contact that I made in the mid-2000s. So Rich started the Vickers MG Collection and Research Association, I think about the same time as I was starting my research. And I know in the initial days what Rich was doing was creating copies of British Army manuals, which him and the team still do today. And these were an absolutely fantastic source of information for me because at the time I didn't have a lot of spare cash, so I wasn't able to go out and buy many, original copies of these manuals. But having these manuals made available as PDFs really gave me an insight into how the weapon systems were to be used, the training that soldiers were to have in various weapon systems. And if it wasn't for Rich publishing these online and, been open to discussion about how the Vickers is to be used, I probably wouldn't have stumbled across this idea that defense placement is in the use of weaponry is integral to defense placement, and understanding how the British Army operated at the time is again integral to interpreting surviving defences. And again, without Rich, I would never have stumbled across this and wouldn't be where I am today. So please do check out vickersmg.blog. So they're also on Patreon, and I've been a supporter of the Patreon for many, many years now, and it is well worth it. It pays for itself in no time as well. You get access to a vast range of resources, absolutely cracking stuff. And again, as with Great War Huts, it's been amazing to see vickersmg.blog, so the Vickers MG Collection and Research Association, grow and develop. Their YouTube channel is absolutely fantastic. The work of the team is absolutely amazing, and the work they do as a research organisation is absolutely fantastic. I also want to do a shout out as well for Zero Post, which is the association's journal. They're open to any article about the Vickers machine gun, and I was really grateful to be approached to do an article for their first edition. And I got a copy of the publication. Massively professional in their approach, absolutely fantastic publication as a result. But they're covering all bases, well worth checking out and supporting if you can. So absolutely top-notch stuff. And then finally, worth a shout out is the work of Owen, who's based in Wales. Morgan Owen. Sorry, Morgan. So Morgan's been focusing primarily on the Welsh Home Guard. Nothing wrong with that. But what I really like about Morgan's work is how he's combining documentary research. He's combining that with aerial photograph investigation, on-site investigation, building up the stories of the local Home Guard units in his area by using this multifaceted approach of documentary research, photographic research. Absolutely cracking stuff. He's bringing together history, archaeology, and all this stuff together to tell the story of the Welsh Home Guard units. And what I really like about the work that Morgan's doing is also combining it with reenactment as well, which helps to visualize what was going on. He's doing massive engagement, and I think one of my favorite things about Morgan's research is he's clearly showing how defence was different wherever you were in the country. So from the contact I've had with Morgan, we've had discussions about how the Home Guard in Wales would have had advantages in terms of the way that the landscape of Wales. So you've got isolated communities in relatively rugged terrain, and in terms of the 3Cs, so command, coordination and communication, so the C3 network, that would have had a massive impact on how the area was to be defended. So I'm fairly certain from the work that Morgan's done and seeing what he's doing, I'm fairly certain that the Home Guard had a more prominent role in Wales because of the way the landscape would have hindered things like communication. So by having these local pockets of Home Guard in isolated positions, I think that would have provided additional defence in depth and additional support for the regulars and territorials in the army, but would have been an almost unique defensive capability in terms of how the Home Guard would have been these autonomous units in this area. And I know Morgan's planning to look at the TA and the regulars in the future and how the Home Guard combine with that. But I think when the work he's doing at the minute is absolutely cracking, really, really good. And when he starts to look at the TAs and the regulars as well, I think that's going to add additional depth to the research he's already done, the work he's already done. I just find it a massive shame that I'm on the opposite side of it. I'm as far away from Wales as you can possibly get, because I'd love to pop up there and have a look and meet up with this chap, because the work he's doing is absolutely fantastic and he deserves a shout out for the work he's doing, the work he continues to do, and also pushing forward the study of the Home Guard as well at a local level. The work he's doing is absolutely fantastic in showing their effectiveness, showing localized defensive structure trends, and also giving an insight into local defensive strategy, which was heavily connected to the mountainous landscape of North Wales. So please do check out Morgan's work. And after all that, I think that is everything. In other stuff, I've been bothering Historic England again by getting submitting stuff to get listed. So I've submitted an application for 2 more First World War pillboxes in Norfolk. And I got a message from HE yesterday to say that they're starting their preliminary investigation of this application. So all been well, touch wood, there'll be 2 more pillboxes listed, but who knows, we'll see what happens with that. And I've also submitted a Blacker bombarding placement near Thetford for listing as well. So always busy. And it'll probably be a couple of years before I see the outcome of those. But yeah, I haven't done a random rambling in a while. I do need to get back on with the Invasion Threat series thing, but I'm currently extremely busy with doing a series of talks. I've got a talk next month and another talk for the NNAS in the month after, and then November I'm doing a talk. So most of my time's going into that, and over winter, once I've done my talks, I'll get back onto my research as well. But anyway, that's another 15 minutes, 16 minutes of me blathering on. Please do check out the books and the websites and the Facebook groups that I've mentioned. You know, it's well worth doing, and I'll catch you later, folks. See you later.